inspired you to write about middle class?
There is no income group definition of middle class. You can say the middle of India, if I treat India as a pyramid,
Yeah.
is middle class. Premiumization doesn't necessarily mean that people are buying, Chanel. Thanks to cocktails, a lot of spirits, wines have entered the repertoire. मिडिल क्लास का माइंडसेट क्या था? प्रेडिक्टेबल इनकम चाहिए मेरे को, predictable consumption pattern होना चाहिए, predictable life होनी चाहिए. What you also see in Gen Z, they want truthful, transparent conversations, which is why they are going towards these smaller brands. Breaking stereotype doesn't mean आज तक मैं woman को kitchen में दिखाता था ad में, अब वो husband भी आ गया side में, वो थोड़ा help कर रहा है. That's not breaking the stereotype. लड़का cheer कर रहा है, लड़की century मार के कप जीत के आ रही है. हमको वहाँ तक अब पहुँचना है. Regional festivals, छठ पूजा पे advertising हो रही है. I think the challenge, people see research as a spend. Research is not a spend, it's an investment.
A brand you admire for truly understanding Indian consumers?
It's a brand probably one grew up with.
On the collaborative canvas, we have been exploring different chapters of Indian consumer stories, and in one of our episodes, we even talked about silver generations, uncovering how an age group once overlooked is now rewriting the rules of affluence, and how digital adoptions are happening, how aspirations are being taking shape. And of course, in another one, we also dived into Gen Zs, a cohort that is defining new categories of consumption, from sneakers to skincare, with their own codes of identity and belonging. But what about the vast group in between, the Indian middle class? For decades, it has been called the backbone of India's economy, yet it's often misunderstood, oversimplified, or boxed in by the income brackets. Today, it's no longer about income, it's a mindset in churn. To decode this transformation, I'm joined by Soumya Mohanty, Managing Director and Chief Client Officer at Kantar. In her latest white paper, Marketing to the Middle Class, she captures how values, aspirations, and the choices of India's middle income are evolving, and how from shifting prices and perception to spiritual consumerism is happening. We'll unpack why this matters now and what marketers must do to stay relevant in the dynamic landscape. But before we dive in, if you enjoyed the conversations like these, do subscribe to the channel, the Collaborative Canvas Podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And join this journey with us and be the part of the dialogue that's shaping the future of consumer understanding. Now let's get into the show. Welcome, Soumya.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
So I read the white paper and it was like someone like me who can easily understand that. It has a very good storyline. You know, I can connect the dots as to how from consumerism we are actually walking the whole journey. So I wanted to understand from you first and, you know, just a little bit talk about what is this white paper and what inspired you to write about middle class?
Thank you for inviting me. And, we are in a market research company. We are in the business of collecting information and insights from consumers. A lot of the work we do is in silos. We do it for clients. And a lot of the questions we found have a lot of similarity. What is going on right now? The penetration growth is not as easy as it used to be. There is a trend of premiumization that is happening. Advertising is getting very fragmented, and memorability and recall is actually not the way it used to be. So we felt that let's look at the deeper consumer trends that are shaping some of these behaviors. And while we normally do every year a consumer trend piece, this time we thought let's deep dive into a demographic cohort which has spoken about a lot but also overlooked a lot, and
True.
which is the middle class. All of us probably belong to the same middle class, and it is interesting because actually a lot of people have written about middle class. If you go and read, a lot of things have been written about this great Indian middle class and how great Indian middle class is driving consumerism even in the 90s. But something has changed in that middle class, and that's what we wanted to understand more about.
And in fact, you're right. Your paper actually mentioned the things which are changing.
Right.
You know, how women are getting more outgoing with buying stuff from Meesho and other e-commerce sites. So we'll come to that later. But one of within the paper, you've also mentioned it, and in the introduction, we also said that that's a mindset and it's no more an income group. Can you elaborate more on that? What is that mindset?
So if you go and meet 100 people on the streets of just here, we are in Noida, so on the streets of Noida, and you ask them, and they could range from the guy who is the security guy standing outside this building itself to me, all of us will say we belong to middle class.
True.
And that is what middle class is. It is not, there is no income group definition of middle class. You can say the middle of India, if I treat India as a pyramid,
Yeah.
is middle class. But then the reality is even people who are sitting at the top are not exactly at the same income levels that they have when they are in a US or in a UK. So in a sense, they are also aspirational and they are also middle class.
Yes.
So effectively, it is who I think I am. Do I think I am actually poor and at the bottom of the pyramid? Actually, free rations is a good way of classifying that. Or do I think I can, take 5 trips abroad? Then I'm obviously not there. So everybody else is in a spectrum,
Yeah.
and which is defined by who I think I am.
I like the point that you mentioned that from 3,500 USD to 35,000 USD is the middle class.
Because there's no real definition of middle class. So if I was to just try and size it, it would probably be, so as per Kantar estimates, about 65% of urban India now are socioeconomic classification A and B.
I saw that chart as well.
Exactly. So now 65% therefore in a way are some form of middle class. About 1% of them are probably the super rich. But rest of them are in a spectrum. Now some of them are earning just about like 20 lakhs in a year, and some of them are earning 1 crore in a year. So, and I see a lot of LinkedIn debates on what is middle class. You need to have this much of money to classify as middle class. A Bangalore middle class needs to have probably more. A Gurgaon middle class rental values needs to have more. So, I mean, if you just cut all that off,
It's very fragmented in a way.
It cut all that off. It's basically your mind space. Do I think I belong to the middle of India? I'm not too rich and I'm definitely not poor. If I think I'm there, I'm middle class.
Middle class has been classified into different categories altogether. You made a very valid point that, there are a lot of people who actually make just 20 lakhs a year. And then there are a lot of people, not so lot, even if I would say, they make about 1 crore a year. And that's why we classify lower middle class, middle class, and upper middle class.
Yeah.
Why is that so even? When we have NCCS A, B, and then the categories.
Because these NCCS or income don't fully define. Because number one, India, our taxation pretty much doesn't cover too many people. We know that TaxNet covers very few are taxpayers. And rural, there is nobody who's a taxpayer.
Yeah, 7%.
So exactly. Agricultural income is not getting taxed. So in a way, there is no formal way of defining what is, there's no real formal way of doing that. Now, Market Research Society has always felt that it is, and they've gone back and forth, that it is education and occupation. Then we say, no, it is ownership of gadgets. Then we discover everybody owns pretty much a lot of things. Then we say, no, let's go back to the education of housewives. So it's just going back and forth in trying to arrive at what is the right way to classify people. So, that is the reason that you can classify people by consumption, which how much are they spending. You can classify people by what they own. You can classify people by what their ambitions are, what their aspirations are. You can classify people by what they make every month. What is their total wealth? Now, I could be making much less. I could have a much higher total wealth, generational wealth. I could be making much more, but I still may not have enough net worth.
True.
So, best to look at it as a mindset that says that I am, I am aspiring, but I'm not overtly ambitious. I want to live within my means. That's a very strong middle class thing. I want to live a bit within my means. Thoda expansion of that means, thoda bahut it has happened. Credit, loan has happened. But still my risk appetite is not that high. So if you start using those kind of softer parameters to classify middle class, it becomes much, much more easier to understand.
आप जैसे बताते जा रहे हो, I can easily frame myself as one of those trait of a middle class, loans and credits, and then, I feel very aspire कि मैं ये भी कर लूँ, but at the end of the day, I don't have a net worth. So, I think that...
But you have a high risk-taking appetite for sure.
Yeah. I think at an age where I should have not been thinking about taking a risk, I'm actually taking yes.
Sure.
So, one more question, and this is out of the blue question, because when I speak with a lot of MBA people, students specifically, they don't wanted to come into the market research world. And, one of them actually had a very good question, which apparently I gave him a very nerdy answer, but I really wanted that answer to come from you. So now we said that there is NCCSA, we have NCCSB, then we have other socio-economic classes as well. We categorize as upper class, middle class, and whatnot. When we talk about statistical inferences and we cite those references, then why do we do studies which is very categorically being said that यही चाहिए? जबकि आप जो अभी classifications की we are talking about, they're like different, and we don't segregate those studies basis on say aspiration, say consumption. We don't do that. We still want कि 100 इसमें चाहिए, 20 इसमें चाहिए, 40 इसमें चाहिए.
I wouldn't fully agree with that. I think that is those are the kind of stuff that has creeped in because of the way the industry has changed. Not the market research industry, the marketing industry has changed. The way they are valuing insights. They are probably looking at it more for either validation of what they already know, which they themselves don't know what they know, by the way. So they are looking either from that purpose, and there's always budget pressures. But fundamentally, if I mean the kind of work that I have done a lot and the kind of work we continue to do is very wide and expansive. So we would always say, let's go and meet a lot of people across socioeconomic classification, across gender, across cohorts, and then segment them. Because it will be very different if I'm going to advise a motorcycle, two-wheeler client, I would look at things very differently in the way I segment versus if I am going to advise a hair oil client.
Cannot be same.
It cannot be the same thing. So I would do it differently, and I would keep it very open. But to come back to your MBA student, I mean, honestly speaking, if you start defining market research in within boundaries, and today there's so much of discussions around AI and a lot of other things, then you will say, what's the big deal? But if you start looking at it as something which allows you the space and freedom to explore, which allows you the space and freedom to do a lot of different things, to pick, which is what we have done in the white paper,
yes,
to pick from different places we have picked up data to create a story. Only market research can help you do that.
True. And to come to that point, I was reading the white paper and I love the idea of, how you compared a Maruti ad long back then and versus what people are. And in fact, other than the fact, when we look at the cars, when we buy and we go, we always talk about what is the economical average that it gives. Yeah, kya features are there? And today it's, I think, more of people going to the, buying features. And you talked about SUVs, the trend that has gone up. How would you, see this evolution for a researcher and a market leader to understand and work around it?
So premiumization is something we are very clearly seeing. It was always there, but post-COVID is accelerated. Now, what does premiumization mean? Premiumization doesn't necessarily mean that people are buying Chanel. There are people who are buying Chanel also, but it fundamentally means that if I was earlier entering a category, let's say I was entering two-wheelers through the entry-level motorcycle, the CC level that today I am entering in is higher. So I am actually entering in through sports bikes. Earlier, that would be the replacement bike or the second bike. I would buy it after I've turned 35. Today, I'm buying it on loan even just after I get my first job. So that aspiration that India has always been aspirational, it's a very aspirational economy. So we always want to go one level higher. And that is very clearly happening. So your hatchbacks have all pretty much gone at the entry-level hatchback.
Yeah.
It is now people are entering through SUVs. Now what that has done, that has actually premiumized the entire category because your entry point has increased. It's happening across all categories. It's happening in skincare. It's happening in every category unless you're a commodity. Unless you're a category like masala, where you have not been able to establish कि क्यों मैं थोड़ा extra pay करूँ हल्दी के लिए, वहाँ पे normal है. लेकिन जहाँ पर भी the categories have been able to establish थोड़ा extra से मतलब aspiration ladder create कर दिया है, the consumer is going to this step. And a very good example I'll give you is alcohol. Now think about it. The beer is still the largest, right? Whiskey and beer in different segments are the largest. But the reality is that thanks to the pub culture, thanks to cocktails, a lot of spirits, wines have entered the repertoire. People are entering the category through cocktails. Now, when I enter through cocktails, and especially women, for example, you enter through vodka. So you are entering through a premium, you're not entering through beer, which was the usual entry path और थ्रू
अब नहीं है।
या फिर रम एंड कोक से करते होंगे, मतलब जो भी है, बट अब वाइट स्पिरिट से कर रहे हैं, अब वाइन से कर रहे हैं. So it does create a lot of interesting dynamics that start happening, and that's what I mean by India being aspirational and everybody premiumizing, and that's why it's so important to understand this middle class, because fundamentally they are the ones who are paying all the money.
Yeah, I mean, the two things. One is the middle class is pretty vast. And
Yeah.
secondly, I think you gave a very good anecdote on this. Ki ye, India is a very aspirational country. So on that, I realized when you were actually talking about, at our age, when we got the first job, we thought, पहले तो एक वो खरीदनी है, एक्टिवा खरीदनी है.
हाँ.
कार तक तो बहुत दूर की बात है. आज की जो जनरेशन है वो जॉब लेते ही, क्योंकि उनके पास EMI का ऑप्शन है, क्रेडिट्स का ऑप्शन है, दे गो विद द सुपर बाइक्स. इवन इफ इट इज लाइक 5 lakhs एंड अबव, दे आर हैप्पी टू डू दैट. Gen Z की जो पॉपुलेशन है, एंड यू मेंशन दैट इट वुड, द परचेजिंग पावर नहीं, द कंजम्पशन पावर इज गोइंग टू बी अबाउट $1,800 billion by 2035.
Correct.
नाउ हाउ दिस प्रीमियम कंजम्पशन कैटेगरीज स्पेसिफिकली, चाहे अब आप बाइक्स की बात करो, there are a lot of sneaker brands which have come, a lot of skincare brand, they have also arrived, and I'm sure other than the larger brands that you guys work with, there are other brands which are also coming up as D2C.
Yeah.
And they are pricing it pretty high. तो अगर मैं आपका हल्दी वाला example लूँ, so there's another brand which I know of, and they sell haldi for almost like double the cost that a normal haldi got sold
Correct.
off. Catch भी उसमें वो लगा देता है एक के साथ एक free, but उनकी हल्दी उसी प्राइस पे होती है.
So जब हम एक एस्पिरेशनल इकोनॉमी होते हो, आपको हमेशा एक सेगमेंट मिलेगा जो, इंडिया का वही तो एडवांटेज है कि हम इतने बड़े हैं कि एक कंट्री के साइज की पॉपुलेशन हर लैडर के हर पार्ट पे बैठी हुई है. सो आपको हमेशा एक ऐसा बिग पॉपुलेशन
Segment
मिलेगा, चाहे वो 20 मिलियन ही हों लोग, 20 मिलियन हाउस होल्ड्स हों, जो आप स्विट्जरलैंड की तरह स्पेंड कर सकती हैं. तो वहाँ पर यू विल हैव अ लॉट ऑफ, सो आई मीन हाउस ऑफ मसाबा है आपका.
हाँ.
चलो हो रहा है, right? I mean, the way what's this guy? Virat Kohli's thing did not particularly work because I don't think he priced it very well. But there are many apparel brands that have priced it pretty good. I think Snitch is doing very well. So the thing about the Gen Z today is there is a Gen Z which is in your tier 3 cities, which is still not as different as we were when we were growing up.
Correct.
Because उनको अभी भी parents के पास उतना पैसा नहीं है. They still have to earn money. They still have to hold on to jobs. They need predictable jobs. But then there is a Gen Z in the metros, which is a very different beast altogether. It's not very different from the Gen Z in US or in the Western world. That Gen Z knows that parents have made enough money. I can leave my job if I want to. I can take a break. I can, go traveling for 1 year. And I'll still have parents who will have that money. So they are much more willing to spend and much more open to it. I think there's another thing that is happening. पहले क्या था ना कि हम जब when people were growing, they wanted to buy a house. The biggest thing was house. What has happened is because the value, the housing sector में काफी distortion आ गया. The price has gone out of reach for most people. So now if I cannot even think of buying a house in 20 years and I've started working, I know I'll have to go and stay with my parents, or I'll have to go back to the छोटा शहर जहाँ से मैं आया हूँ, and वहाँ पे मुझे घर बनाना पड़ेगा. तो अभी का horizon नहीं है मेरे पास. तो I am more free with money. So iPhone मैं खरीदूंगा, the latest iPhones. How do I signal I have arrived? I will buy the latest iPhone, or I'll buy a bike, or I'll buy something or I'll buy expensive clothes, because housing now looks like a longer horizon, or I have to go back and stay with my parents. It's not as easy.
बहुत क्लासिक सी स्टोरी है. रिसेंटली आई अटेंडेड दिस कॉन्फ्रेंस एंड आई मेट अ स्टूडेंट फ्रॉम यूनिवर्सिटी. तो आई वाज थिंकिंग दैट ही रियली वांटेड टू नो व्हाट वी डू एज अ कंपनी, व्हाट वी डू, व्हाट वी ऑफर टू द वर्ल्ड. Instead, he said, I wanted to know because I have a lot of money from my parent and I really wanted to invest in your venture. मैं कहा यार, seriously, मतलब you're making a very valid point, and that's exactly how it is happening right now.
आप स्टॉक मार्केट में रिटेल इन्वेस्टर्स कितने बढ़ गए हैं, आप ये देखो. उसी से आपको पता चल रहा है कि पीपल, देयर इज अ होल सेगमेंट जो बोल रहा है कि मतलब प्रेडिक्टेबल इनकम, एक क्या था, आप मिडिल क्लास का माइंडसेट क्या था, प्रेडिक्टेबल इनकम चाहिए मेरे को, प्रेडिक्टेबल कंजम्पशन पैटर्न होना चाहिए, प्रेडिक्टेबल लाइफ होनी चाहिए. वो शिफ्ट कर गया है.
Exactly.
कि अब प्रेडिक्टेबिलिटी रही भी नहीं है वैसे, ऑनेस्टली, विथ जॉब्स, ले ऑफ्स, जॉब्स गोइंग, वाइट कॉलर जॉब्स उतनी बची नहीं है. सो व्हाई डोंट आई जस्ट एंजॉय द मोमेंट, एंड दैट्स व्हाट यू सी इन Gen Z. What you also see in Gen Z, they want truthful, transparent conversations, which is why they are going towards these smaller brands, which is why maybe Unilever had to acquire a minimalist. ना तो मतलब करना पड़ा उनको. अब आपका I think ABFRL has got this owned. So there are even the mainstream guys understand that their mainstream brands may not be able to talk to Gen Z because these guys are listening to influencers on Instagram and they are in a different world. They are looking at checking out vibes. So
Exactly.
which you may not be able to communicate through your legacy brands. So yeah, I mean Gen Z, but I still will advise that there is Gen Z and there is Gen Z. The Gen Z we are talking about is the metro Gen Z. You go lower into the lower tiers, they are not very different from what we were when we started embarking on this journey, or at least I did in the in the mid 90s when India was liberalizing, and so they still are wanting a part of that share of that kind of success. They still don't have that kind of money. But if a D2C brand gets the pricing right and can aspirationally build it, it can reach out to those tier 2, tier 3. You see, that's what many of them are
That's
doing.
exactly what they're doing. I recently spoke to a couple of them and they really wanted to enter the tier 2 market because
Exactly.
they know exactly there, even if I tweak my prices a little, I can still get a lot of customer come. And वो जो आपने पहले भी बोला था, there India के अंदर ना वो छोटे-छोटे 20-20 million के ना segments हैं.
Exactly.
Who can spend like, the way they spend in Switzerland. Even if they have money and उनका अपना agricultural tax नहीं जाता, they got a lot of money to spend on. And they wanted to scope things up. दूसरी चीज़ I reminded myself कि जब आप बोल रहे थे कि iPhone, the news flashes that happened was around Gen Zs only because
Correct.
they were standing in the queue to buy the new iPhone. And we were like, अभी तो चल ही रहा है ना, फिर देखेंगे.
Exactly.
So I think we still get that mindset. But talking about going back to the story again in the white paper, you spoke about rise of the woman as an economic agent.
Yeah, I think so Gen Z is actually done to death by most marketers, if you think about it, right? Because a lot of them focus a lot on Gen Z. Women are as a silent shaper of a lot of change that is happening because women today, there are more working women, there are more financially literate women, they have stronger financial inclusion. A lot of the stuff our government only has done. And this is not just like top end, I mean, across the entire spectrum. Women have becoming a bigger force today. So, and therefore, when you have economic agency, which today women have, and you have economic literacy, you have a choice to make. And I'll give you a very good example that I give to all my clients, that मैं अच्छी वैरायटी का, बेटर वैरायटी का आटा खरीदूँ या राइस खरीदूँ अपनी फैमिली के लिए, या मैं पार्लर में जाऊँ and I spend the money to get a good pedicure and manicure done. It sounds very transactional, sounds very, doesn't sound like, can I really compare? Women are also family oriented, unko hona chahiye, but that's not the reality. The reality is women have always wanted time for themselves, to indulge themselves. Women have always wanted to be recognized for their own aspirations and not necessarily as just as a homemaker. That's also a big part of but that's one part of who they are, not all of who they are. So today they are making personal choices. And that is a very important thing because they're 50% of the population. And they are huge influencers. They are also influencing financial decisions. They are starting to invest in the stock market. So they are going to, and they have a very different way of thinking. So they are going to be a huge agent of change. They are going to dictate a lot of what's going to happen in future. And I guess men are also adapting to it.
So how do you think brands should navigate through these specific woman-led products per se? Because again, the fact is, even if I talk about people who are not working, they're homemakers, they really wanted to have a particular choice. They manage their own timelines, when to pick up their kids, when to go for a parlor, how to get stuff done. What should brand be specifically focusing on these women other than the people who are already working and they know how they manage their time?
I think first see them as a whole. I always say that first understand the aspirations of the people you are talking to. Don't put them typecast people into homemaker, working woman. See them, there are homemakers who are home entrepreneurs. I think Cadbury's has just run a campaign.
Correct.
Right, in the festive campaign in which they celebrated those people. So recognize that there are different types of segments even within homemakers. And the other thing is just break the stereotypes. I think it's really important to sort of break the stereotype. And breaking stereotype doesn't mean आज तक मैं woman kitchen में दिखाता था ad में, अब वो husband भी आ गया side में, वो थोड़ा help कर रहा है. That's not breaking the stereotype. Breaking the stereotype is show it in a natural way, not in a, ये बहुत cliched है. Is there a natural way into men can be seen as more caregivers? Forget women for a moment. हमारी सब कुछ ना women को हम change करके दिखा देते हैं. women को या तो kitchen में दिखा देते हैं या फिर वो स्कूटी लेके जा मतलब वो स्कूटर लेके जा रही है, पीछे बच्चा बैठ. So हम women पर ही focus मारते. Can we break the mold for men? Because what do women really want? Women want men to realize that they need to be different.
तो कैडबरी का जो पहले जो ad था जिसमें वो लड़की डांस करते हुए आती थी, फिर उन्होंने रिप्लेस कर दिया. हाँ,
आई थिंक वो हो चुका है. वो दैट वाज द प्रोग्रेशन दैट वाज हैपनिंग. अब ज़्यादा की ज़रूरत है. अब हमको लड़का को मतलब लड़का चीयर कर रहा है, लड़की सेंचुरी मार के कप जीत के आ रही है. हमको वहाँ तक अब पहुँचना है. हमको पहुँचना है कि आप एक बुलेट एक औरत चला रही है in a very natural and normal way. She wants to go on a solo trip.
I remember the ad that you flashed on the white paper about Thar, where woman was competing with the men and then men proposes her. So I think कहीं ना कहीं वो mindset change तो है.
थोड़ा बहुत है. It's not very, I mean it's not that natural or common. मतलब we still debate a lot. लें ये, करें ये, होता है ये. मतलब there is still a fear कि ज़रूरत से ज़्यादा तो नहीं, we will break the stereotype. Men may end up feeling not too good about it, and which is also true. That there is some of the women getting more and more agency can make men feel a little uncomfortable. So we have to celebrate men is what I'm saying. We have to celebrate men not as only as people who are providing for the family, but men in their multiple roles. We have to allow men to become more multidimensional. Women कर लिया हमने काफी.
Again, फिर आपके उस चीज पे लेके जाता हूँ. कैडबरी के ad पे the first one, you mentioned about spiritual consumerism.
Right.
उसके ऊपर थोड़ा सा how this whole picture came into the white paper.
Yeah, because normally you expect when progress happens in any country or whatever, progress is normally associated with Western values. In India, it has always been that, right? हम मतलब धोती पहनते थे, फिर trousers पहनते हैं, whatever you want to call it, right? That's the reality of that's how progress is.
But वो भी एक evolution है.
But अब change हुआ है. I don't want to get into the political part of it, but there is a change, and there is even among Gen Z a growing realization or a growing need to be more spiritual. Now, how much of that is real? How much of that is because of what is happening around them and they want to belong? They want to be a part of a bigger community. They don't want to rebel so much, which is normally what you associate with young people. But they want to belong to, एक चीज़ है. I want to belong to my culture. And that's a global phenomenon. So instead of aspiring, maybe earlier they were aspiring to go to other countries, right? बाहर जाएंगे, बाहर कमाएंगे. अब वो देख रहे हैं कि एवेन्यूज कम हो रही हैं, नहीं जा पाएंगे, नहीं कमाएंगे. इंडिया में प्राइड वापस आ रहा है. एंड आई मीन आई वुड रियली क्रेडिट जो भी हम लोग कर रहे हैं, जिसकी वजह से प्राइड वापस आ रहा है इंडिया में. सो अगर इंडिया में प्राइड वापस आ रहा है तो अपने कल्चर में भी प्राइड वापस आएगा. So I will celebrate Diwali. I will go to Kumbh Mela without feeling कि ये मैं क्यों it's not something I should be doing or I should be associated with. तो एक तो वो barrier ही हट गया है. That Western means progress. वो खत्म. Now moment Western means progress खत्म. Now the question happens is that am I genuinely spiritual or I just want to belong to this huge festival? So some are going there for genuine spirituality to discover themselves, and some are just going because I want to celebrate my culture. Very openly. I want to be a part of something bigger. And that is something that's here to stay. Like I want to be a part of the celebration of India, of the celebration of Indian culture. And brands will find ways of participating in it.
And which is why you cited an example of Mahakumbh, because this Mahakumbh,
absolutely.
Brands like Zomato was there. Almost everybody was there.
Almost everybody was there. And by the way, if you look at Durga Puja in Calcutta, everybody was there.
वो तो शुरू से रहा है.
शुरू से रहा है, but बहुत strongly जा रहे हैं अब अंदर. मतलब जो आप छोटे-छोटे festivals भी होते हैं, दुर्गा पूजा and Mahakumbh are big, right? But even regional festivals, छठ पूजा. छठ पूजा पे एडवर्टाइजिंग हो रही है।
आई थिंक महाकुंभ की में जिस तरह से एडवर्टाइजमेंट इस साल हुई है,
बहुत ज्यादा
पहले नहीं होती
इंटीग्रेशन
थी।
हुई है, इंटीग्रेशन बहुत हुई है इस बार।
जबकि दुर्गा पूजा पे छोटे ब्रांड्स लेके बड़े ब्रांड्स यूज्ड टू बी देयर ऑलवेज।
कैलकाटा में, बट इंटीग्रेशन बहुत अच्छी हुई है इस बार महाकुंभ में।
हाँ।
कि ना महाकुंभ में लोग ही बहुत ज्यादा गए हैं
इस बार तो बहुत ही थे।
बहुत ही ज्यादा गए हैं। एंड सेकेंडली हम दैट वाज अ वेरी स्लो डाउन फेज इफ यू लुक एट फ्रॉम अ कंजम्पशन स्टैंड पॉइंट, सो इट वाज अ गुड ओकेजन टू बी एबल टू लेवरेज इट। बट मैं बोल रही हूँ उसके आगे भी अगर आप देखो, अभी मैं छठ की इसलिए बोल रही हूँ कि अभी छठ खत्म हुई है, छठ पे भी एडवर्टाइजिंग हुई है। जब नॉर्मली छठ पे टू क्रिएट एड्स फॉर छठ was not as much done. So I think there's
We did it, so I cannot.
You did it. So I'm just saying there's a broader realization कि there are many Indias, and to win in many Indias, I have to speak in their language and I have to be present where they are present. पहले लगता था एक एड है उसको सब जगह चला लेते हैं, एक कैंपेन है उस सब जगह कर देते हैं। वो बहुत बदल गया है, बहुत ज़्यादा बदल गया। फुल स्केल नहीं बदला, बहुत बदल गया। आई विश मल्टीनेशनल्स वुड रियलाइज दिस मोर, बाय द वे। सम ऑफ देम डू, सम ऑफ देम डोंट, बट आई विश दे वुड, दैट द ग्लोबल प्लेबुक डजंट वर्क।
That's a very good point you made, Soumya. तो एक सवाल और मेरे दिमाग में आ रहा है. When we do research, we generally find some values out of it that we can talk to brands that this is what is changing and you really have to tweak things up. So in summation of all, जो advertising में storytelling का part जाता है, plus when we speak about कि that particular thing is changing, now we know that this is an aspirational economy. अगर मैं women's की बात करूं, and we have to show men as more of a caretaker, caregiver, and make them stronger to cite an example. If we talk about Gen Z overall, or we talk about people who are lying to buy SUVs, या हम उस पूरी ecosystem को अगर देखें जो actually बदल रही है, और आप कह रहे हैं कि branding के अंदर जो multinationals उनको इस पे focus करना चाहिए, तो one suggestion in all the summary of the white paper, what would you give it to the brands who should focus on that change which is dynamic in its own nature?
I think first and foremost, one thing that has continued, which is not a change, that has continued but has become amplified. India is many Indias. The first thing brands should understand that कि आपको अगर पूरी इंडिया के साथ करना है तो आपको अलग अलग तरह क्लस्टर्स बनाओ, कुछ भी बनाओ, अलग अलग तरह बात करनी पड़ेगी. That's the first thing I would say. The second thing, because multinationals miss this a lot of times because they have the second thing I would say is big huge change across everybody is pride. We are no longer interested being treated as second class citizens. So if you're doing something for us, Indian brands understand that obviously a lot more. If you're doing something for us, do it for us. Don't we are not aspiring, we are not aspiring for a different lifestyle or a different thing anymore. We are very comfortable in our own skin. Applies to Gen Z, applies to women. That insecurity that used to be there in middle class, in every cohort I'm talking about, वो insecurity कम हो गई है. हम अपने में ज़्यादा confidence आ गया. I'm not saying it's across board, but आ गया है. अब neighbors envy, owners pride की ज़रूरत नहीं है. ठीक है, आप अपनी बात करो. मतलब एज अ ब्रांड अपनी बात करो. व्हाट डू यू ब्रिंग ऑन द टेबल, व्हाट कैन यू गिव मी. आई एम अ कॉन्फिडेंट बायर टुडे, whichever cohort I belong to. I want authenticity from you. I want truth from you. And I don't want to feel like, I'm repeating again, a second class citizen. I want to feel you are doing it for me.
Yeah, so because that's exactly how the research reveals the truth.
Exactly.
And
रिसर्च कौन कर रहा है इतना ज्यादा. द डेज जब ब्रांड्स बड़े ब्रांड्स बिल्ड हुए थे ना,
आप उसको कंट्रोवर्सी बना रही हैं.
कंट्रोवर्सी नहीं बना रही, मैं बता रही हूँ जब बड़े ब्रांड्स बिल्ड हुए थे, इंक्लूडिंग मल्टीनेशनल ब्रांड्स, बहुत रिसर्च करते थे, बहुत समझने की कोशिश करते थे. अब हम बहुत ऑप्टिमाइजेशन वाले एनवायरनमेंट में चले गए, हम वो डीप अंडरस्टैंडिंग को छोड़ रहे हैं.
ये सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है. व्हेन आई स्पीक टू अ लॉट ऑफ ब्रांड्स, जो छोटे ब्रांड्स हैं, वो फीडबैक सिस्टम जो उनका है वो अपने दोस्तों में दे दिया, अपने लोगों में दे दिया, आसपास के लोगों में दे दिया, या इन सर्कल्स दे दिया, इन चैनल्स दे दिया, बट दे आर नॉट डूइंग द कोर रिसर्च, एंड व्हिच इज व्हाई दे आर स्ट्रगलिंग अ लॉट, बट दे स्टिल डोंट वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि व्हाई रिसर्च इज सो इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड
बिकॉज ऑफ दिस, बिकॉज इंडिया इज सो, बिकॉज अभी जो हमने इतनी लंबी बात की, इंडिया इज सो वास्ट, देयर आर सो मेनी 20 मिलियन सेगमेंट्स.
एग्जैक्टली.
आप थोड़ा, and research is a very useful investment. I think the challenge, people see research as a spend. Research is not a spend, it's an investment.
It is an investment, and that comes up to the last conversation where I'm going to give some rapid fire questions to you. So we sum up the entire conversation of the white paper as to why a certain element is necessary when you reach out to the vast population. So the first question which we really wanted to understand is, in one word, describe India's middle class today.
Confident yet anxious.
What's your personal go-to insight source, data dashboards or the conversation?
Conversations.
A brand you admire for truly understanding Indian consumers.
It's a brand probably one grew up with. I think Maggie.
Gen Z or silver generation, who surprises you more as a consumer?
I think both surprise me.
And the study is about middle class.
Both surprise me.
What's the one marketing buzzword you wish we'd all stop using?
AI.
That's a good one. Tea or coffee when you're deep diving into reports?
Chai.
Chai. If you weren't in market research, आप कहाँ होते?
I think I've always wanted to be an actor, so pata nahi.
A book or a white paper you think every marketer should read?
I can't think of one single book, but I would say read fiction a lot more. Because, when you read stories, you start understanding stories
Imagination.
better. It opens up your imagination.
True. One trend in consumer behavior you think is very overrated?
Just this, generalization of Gen Z. Very overrated.
आज के डेट में तो ज़्यादा हो गया है.
बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया.
And finally, what's the first thing you'd buy if you have to live like a middle class Gen Z for a day?
Middle class Gen Z for a day. I would like to. I just read there's a sneaker called साड़ी sneaker. जब मैं साड़ी पहनती नहीं हूँ, but इसका नाम साड़ी sneaker है, कुछ ऐसा ही है.
हाँ.
तो
बहुत सुना है मैंने.
हाँ, तो I wear a lot of sports shoes and so normal standard ones. I would like to buy something उस type का कुछ मतलब.
You feel like one day for a Gen Z, huh?
Yeah.
To be a Gen Z, okay. Thank you so much, Soumya, for your time today. And that was indeed a great discussion. We really have to find out the avenues where brands should actually understand what they really need to sell. Or India is not just one single country. It's a diverse sector across from top to bottom, left to right.
Okay.
So every single communication needs to go out accordingly. You cannot just put same ad run across by the same music or the tone.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, this has been an insightful conversation. From redefining the values to women autonomy, from masculinity shift to spiritual consumerism, India's middle class is clearly a moving target. What struck me the most is that we cannot view them as a single block anymore. It's a mosaic of aspirations, identities, and behaviors. And for our listeners, if you're building products, campaigns, or even narratives for India, you cannot afford to ignore this middle. It's not just a consumer segment, it's a pulse of transformation. Join the dialogue, share your thoughts on India's evolving middle class in the comments, and hit that subscribe button to stay updated with our upcoming episode. And I thank Soumya again for making time out and bringing Kantar's deep research and her strategic lens to this dialogue. And to everyone tuning in, stay curious, stay inspired, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Collaborative Canvas. Thank you so much.
Thank you.